I found that there's an easy trap to fall into, and that is when you're in school, it's easy to think about what worked or what was hot last year. What did graduates from 2005 and 4 and 6, what did they do, and where are they being successful today? So when I graduated, it was hedge funds and real estate, and people were chasing after these industries because everyone that they'd heard about who'd gone into those industries was making terrific money, and that was just where the jobs were. I can tell you, like, you're going to have to understand that the game has changed and that those jobs aren't going to be there in the same volume that they once were. And so if you're interested in financial services, you're going to have to be a lot more creative and start looking off of the traditional map that you had in terms of Wall Street and investment banking, hedge funds, and the like. You're really going to have to start thinking creatively about, where else can I get the experience that I want? And that could be anywhere. It could be in an early stage firm, in energy, in education, in healthcare. You could be working in the finance area of any large firm that's not necessarily a bank or a hedge fund. So just one thing to think about. Shannon also raised a really good point, and that is be prepared and really just have a process. As you reach out to alums, know everything that is knowable about their firm before you pick up the phone. Cambridge Associates, the firm I work for, is in the financial consulting and advisory services realm. It's not a management consulting firm. So anytime I get a call from Middlebury and they say, the Middlebury student says, I'm really interested in management consulting. Can you tell me more about Cambridge Associates? My initial reaction is, do you have an internet connection? Could you just have gone to the website and figured out that we don't do that? And so, if you do your homework ahead of that phone call is going to position you much better. You're going to be able to ask much more informed questions and have a better result. Another thing is, think about your job search almost like you're a salesperson trying to sell something. You're trying to sell yourself. And so think about all the prospects out there that you want to reach out to and make a spreadsheet of them. And think about, okay, these are somewhat qualified prospects. I'm going to call them, speak with them, learn more about the firm and about the culture, about the job requirements, about whether or not they have openings. And if that conversation, if I really knock them dead in that conversation, then that might move to the next step. And it might be speaking with one of their colleagues. It could be coming in or having a more formal phone interview, or actually having an interview. But always feed that pipeline. Always think about, what am I doing today that's going to either generate more qualified job leads or advance the leads that you have and have them turn into real opportunities. Because even if you just have a couple of lab opportunities and you stop feeding that pipeline, any number of things could happen that could have those opportunities just evaporate. There could be a hiring freeze, especially in this environment. There could be, they could decide that they want an MBA or they want someone with 10 years of experience, and those little things are out of your control. So control what you can control by feeding the pipeline and positioning yourself as best you can.
So we can pontificate for a long time, but...
Great, so I wanted to open up for questions now. If you would just identify your name and your class year, that would be really helpful. Thank you. So please, questions for our panelists.
Well, you were talking about, my name is Dexter, and I'm going to graduate next 2012 from South Management. I'm really interested in business and where I'm trying to go. So, well, you're talking about changing jobs for like 5 times. So I'm wondering, at the back of my mind, is there a saying where a rolling stone never is no moss? So, what do you think of that?
It's a good question. I'll start. So I actually think. So first of all, it probably depends a bit by industry. So in my industry, in the technology industry, in the kind of the media industry, I'd actually say if you are in a job for longer than 4 years, I think it probably to some degree raises flags, just because the industry themselves changes so quickly, right? So I graduated from college. No one used I didn't use email, and there was PantherNet, but no one used it when I was in college. Cell phones didn't exist for another 5 years after I graduated from college. Certainly Google was not even on somebody's idea at that point. And if you look at our industry, there's a lot of change. People will do a job for 3 or 4 years. One of the things I encourage you to think about is is the era of, and some of your parents might do this, the era of going to work for a company for 20 years is probably over, and but I encourage everybody to think of, you own your career. Like I tell all the people that work for me, at the end of the day, like you own your career, and you have to almost you're a personal consultant, and you have to every day think about, okay, what skills am I building right now in this job? What are some of the skills that I want to build? How can I get exposure to those in this job? And how do you knock the ball out of the park in terms of what you're being asked to do in the present? But how do you also always think about what the next step is, in the sense of what are some of the other opportunities either within the firm or outside the firm, et cetera, that'll expose me to some of those developmental areas. So I would also say, don't put a tremendous amount of pressure on yourselves that if the job you get right out of school isn't the perfect job for you, that you're going to be screwed moving forward. Because that is absolutely not the case. I apologize for my language, but the reality is you will go somewhere, you will learn a ton in whatever it is that you do about what you like. You will learn a ton about what you don't like, and then you will take that information and then you will move forward into an additional opportunity. And that's okay. That's a good thing.
So I've had